Okay, this is going to be a real fun piece to do. I've got to cut out for the casing on one doorway, both casings, and then I have to cut out for the baseboard. The baseboard doesn't get cut as deep, and the casing needs to be buried under the entire casing and the door jamb. So it's a really difficult thing to put in because of the angle at which you have to put in these pieces. So essentially this is going to have to slide in and somehow, some way, be able to pull back. Now I'm going to have an inch space here, which is going to really help me, I believe. I can take my pull bar and pull it. So I'm going to take it and sight over where I want this piece to go. And I'm going to put an X on that because I know that's the part I want to cut off. Okay, so it's going to be like that. Now what I want to do is measure the distance from this piece to my line. This is going to be my full width piece. 5 3/8 will do. And that's going to be from the wood. So 5 3/8. Without removing these pieces. So we may have to just remove these pieces, or at least this one. And that was just sitting there as a prop. I can try to get it in. You may have to remove both. There, we got it. Well, I mean, not quite home yet, but oh, there we go. Nice. Now we can. Okay, so that looks pretty decent. We just gotta make sure that we can get this piece in. Yeah. So that guy looks like it's gonna be able to go in. We'll put that in right now. And we'll see. And that is really tight. I can't quite get this piece over. I'm just going to have to tap it. You know what? Rather than banging that side, why don't I pull from the right side? Geez, that would be intelligent, wouldn't it? I can't believe I didn't do that. No idea. I can pull this guy over with my tool here. Okay, that's done. Oh boy. So I definitely forgot about that. Having that ability to move that piece there, but still, just mop this up. Okay, so that's in there. Now the next piece is going to be right here. Got the edge, so I should be able to make a mark. All right, this is where it's got to be, right there. measure the width of this piece. And what's that going to need to be? That's going to need to be 3 1/4. And that's going to be from this front edge. So that's going to be the wing size, let's call it 3 1/4. It's going to be 6 1/4. Yeah, we'll go 6 inches for that. Other wing side. Okay, so the full rip is going to be the big piece, 6 inches, and then the wings are going to be the shorter pieces, and then it's going to look like that piece, right? So it's going to look like a T. All right. Oh, let's see if we can get this guy in. So we got funny looking shape here, but that's what it is. All right, now we got to see if we can get this guy in here. Same way we did the last one, which is basically push it in and hopefully we can get past the, so we're going at a little bit of an angle. We don't want to damage this piece. So we got to see if we can get this guy in there. Wow. Now, it's there, but we have to shift it to the right. The space right there. There's a little bit of a gap, and that's because we need to go this way about 5/16 of an inch. So, see this little space? That's what we want to cover up. See, we have all that room, we got to go to the right. And when we go to the right, that little opening is going to be gone. See how there's no opening there? Okay, so we need to push this to the right and see if we can get those clipping. And this is one of those jobs, areas of the job that are probably the most difficult. There's no question. But having said that, the way that I just did this, the way I just showed you, is definitely the way to go. Now, again, these spaces here underneath here are really tight. There's very, very little room, but the membrane on the bottom of the vinyl pieces, the wood, has a little bit of give to it, so you can push it down and compress it just enough to kind of squeeze it under that casing. It's not like a solid wood or engineered wood where it's actually hard and there's no compression. So that's nice. All right, so a little bit of a tap on this side to push it to the right. That's what I'll do. All right, so that space is already gone, you can see. And we are almost home free. We're right there. So what I'm going to do is close this space right here. That's good. So that's a couple things I need to do. I need to pull this guy tight. This joint here needs to be tight to me. That means I need to also secure this right there. So I'm just going to tap this guy just a little bit. And then secure this joint. This guy pulled in tight with my bar here. Now this is basically, if you're going to do this kind of a floor, you really should have this, because when you get up next to the walls, you need to pull it towards the joint sometimes. So it's kind of an important thing to have. You can see how difficult this would be if you did not have this tool. Yeah, it does. It's just kind of thin. Man, we are really close. It's just not quite pulling it. You know, we go to a heavier tool. It's my little sledge. Use this guy. Fails, go to a heavier tool. There it is. Get this right side. It's still not quite there. But I think what happens is I just need to tap it a little bit and it will engage. That part right there. See that little hairline crack? Well, it was a little bigger a minute ago. But watch, let's see if it goes away. Yeah. There it is. Now it's gone. All right, so that's good. Perfect. The joint's perfect. So this is what it started out like, right? And now it's tight. So this one just has to go to the right a little bit more, but also I need to push that in more so that I can get this piece in. So this guy's got to go that way more. Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to put this piece in at an angle. This ought to be interesting. Alright, so that piece goes like that. So I'm going to have to go under. See if I can. I don't know if I can. Not completely under. And somehow pull it forward. Just like that. Wow. Okay. Now I gotta get it forward and in that spot there. 30-second away. There it is. Oh yeah. We're getting there. I need to tap this here to push it into this joint on the right. Oh, that's nice. That's nice and tight. All right, so I have to pull these joints together, and in order to do that, basically I have to pull this guy over as one unit, and it'll lock this guy in. So start with this one, and I'm gonna, as I tap this, I need to also make sure that this is gonna close. So that looks pretty good. Just need to tap this. Just need to get this guy right there pulled in, and that will pull this one. Come on, baby, you're almost there. Ah, got it. Well, I should say got it. I need to do this side. Nice. Nice. All right. I just have to tap that joint together. And that's great right there. Perfect. All right, so this is what I have left. You can see how tight it is everywhere. But this piece here is bent just a bit, right? So I was pulling on that side right here, but this part didn't get pulled because it's a little narrower, so it's not as strong and rigid. So it should have some really good force though going at it. So if I just push tap here, I should be able to get it to close that gap off just by tapping. So let's see. There it is. Close the gap. Here's what I was saying, if you wipe them, they smear. They end up, it comes off real easily, but it's just a mess when you're looking at it. All right, nice and tight, all the way down. Perfect joints. All right, I've got to figure out the cut here to get around this. Now, as far as the actual rip, we can look at it like this. So I'll make it a little less than 3. I would rather it be a little less because I like to be able to get behind it if need be. If you've got a piece of scrap, you can just use this as a straight edge. And then right there, and it comes across here. Always put an X to the side you don't want to keep. So I know that's the side that my waist is going to be on. So the table saw blade, since I'm cutting this on the table saw or the jigsaw, that blade is going to be on the X side of the line. So that's it. And these are difficult to cut with scoring and breaking, so I'm just cutting them either with the jigsaw or the bandsaw or the table saw. I've got this rip done, and I'm just going to finish it up with this jigsaw cut. high at the baseboard. Okay, have a good day. Drive safe. It's gonna be hot. Yeah. All right. We've gotten away. We haven't had to worry about the spacing, but that's a 48-inch long piece right there. Stopped an inch and a half away, so I need to make a little tiny piece just to fit that spot. And the shoe molding will cover 3/4 of an inch, but that's farther than 3/4 of an inch. That is 38 1/8. Quarter. That's going to be my cut area. And then this one, 18 1/4. That's going to be my first cut. 18 1/4. I can measure this. That is, let's say 4 3/4. Say 4 5/8 for that one. Okay, so that's going to be gone. Just one more cut. All right, let's see if this thing fits. I know I can get this guy in there. There it is. Sometimes you just need a little vibration to get it to snap. That thing fits perfectly. So now I just have the back corner to do. It's about that big of a piece. And then that one. They're almost the same exact size. I mean, very, very close. Okay, so this was just like the casing. I'm going to have to remove this material, but I want to be careful not to touch this area too much, because what's going to happen is when I put this underneath here, is going to butt up against that guy right there. So I'm going to use my multi-tool. Okay, that's going to be good. Okay, so now I just need to cut this guy to length, and I want to make sure that I get it in all the way up to the stair molding, a little apron that comes up the walls. So that is 41. You know what? I can't tell for sure what that is, so I'm going to mark it at 20, and then I'm going to measure from the other side just to see if I'm getting this number right. So that's 20, and that is 21 and an eighth. So that's 41 and an eighth, just a little heavy. So 41 and 1/8 heavy. Got this piece ripped, and this edge to this edge is about 1/8 of an inch difference. That's pretty good. So basically you start from the room furthest from here, and I measured it beforehand, but it's always nice when your numbers come out pretty close to exact. That's always nice. Pretty lucky in some cases. Pivot this up.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I can lift. I can't lift this up, but maybe it'll
Yeah,
work.
a little bit more.
Ah, good God. Once I put the cap on, that's going to get glued on here, and then it's going to wrap around. So the only thing I'm concerned about is making sure that the bottom underneath gets covered, so that this area here where the carpet is, that needs to be covered completely. So that bowl nose, essentially, that's all it is a bowl nose, goes on top of here, and it covers it. So we'll put it on, and I suppose you could just because, you know, if this has any kind of movement in, I wonder if I put some glue right there. Maybe I just put a little pin nail right there, just to keep it flat. But that's awesome. So you can see we are, I mean, it's essentially right on the money. That's awesome. I just trimmed about an inch off of this piece. That's all that is. Okay, to finish this floor up, this little piece here has to be put in to that spot right there. That little piece has to be put into the very corner spot. So wish me luck. These are extremely tight spaces. And I just measured it, and I scored it, and then broke it off with my hand, just snapped it. That's how I made that piece. All right. So I tap this. All right, that's perfect. It's a little hard to get in there, but that's very, very nice. This guy here has to go in. This is there's not a lot of space here at all. So you can see that. It's perfect right there. And then this one here, that one I just put in. That looks really good. So a busy Saturday and Sunday, but this isn't too bad at all. Although I am pretty decent at woodworking, you'd think, with my career, but this is definitely a job that requires patience and a fair amount of forethought and skill. But the skill part, I don't know. Is it necessarily to have a lot of skill for this? I don't think so. I think it's just you have to plan it, and good things happen if you plan, you know. All right, we'll continue this tomorrow.